Hey everyone, my name is Jolie. Welcome back to my channel. Today's demonstration is going to introduce you to D365. If this is your first time and you just want some navigation tips from an end user's perspective, I never received this when I first came into D365, although I had some really great mentors. I never received just kind of an overall introduction to D365 and kind of just what you need to know as an end user when you first get into the system. And so that is what I'm going to share with you today. And I'm super excited to share it with you. Beginner's introduction into D365. If you are someone who has just logged into your system and your homepage looks different than mine, that is completely okay. I am an admin in this demo environment, so I see that everything that Microsoft has to offer. What you will see is based on your security role. So you might only see a few of these workspaces. These boxes on your homepage are called workspaces, and we're going to come back to those in just a moment. But again, you might not see everything I see, and that's okay. But what you will see is this finance and operations button at the top left-hand side of your screen. And it is a home button. So if you are anywhere within the system, so I'm going to randomly just pick a place and I want to come back home, I just come up here to the left corner and I click that home button and it takes me home. Right underneath that is a sessions calendar. So this does drive default dates within the system. Let me quickly show you what it does. If I'm an accountant, and say it's June 2nd, and I need to post date or predate back my transactions to be May 31st. This is where I would change those dates within the system. Let me show you kind of how it works here. So if I choose May 17th, the system will ask me if I want to change my date. I'm going to say yes. And if I come into a journal and I create a new journal and I go to lines, notice my date is defaulting to May 17th. So that I'm going to go back to the home page. This date drives default dates within the system. So you might be a user who this does not apply, making these dates. This is mainly an accounting, finance driven option when you're changing your sessions date. Now notice I'm going to duplicate my tab. And when I do, I'm defaulted back into the current date of May 30th. So keep that in mind. It's only relevant in the browser that you're in. So it's only going to work in the browser that you're currently in when you change that session state. I really like that. Okay, so let's go back to the calendar. Now, right underneath that is work items assigned to me. Now, this is a queue, and you notice I have two work items here. It doesn't matter which one of these work items I select. It's going to take me to the same work items assigned to me. And this is a queue, meaning as I address these work items, and by address, I mean approve, reject, delegate, return, any of the work items, they leave my queue. So if I was to come here, open up this expense report by clicking inside the hyperlink, and then if I was to approve, just going to quickly approve this for our demonstration. And then I come up here to this right-hand corner of my screen. This half circle is a soft refresh within the system. And now that work item leaves my queue. While we're here, and I'm introducing you to D365, let me introduce you to the table concept, or Microsoft calls it a grid in D365, but it reminds me of the table concept in Excel in that each one of these columns, so you see ID, subject, document, have a drop-down filter capability. And within that capability, within that dropdown is the option, the criteria options as well. So you can change how you like to search. I use contains a lot, and I'm going to show you this here in a moment when we go into an actual master data table, how contain works really well. But again, everywhere in Dynamics is this grid view with these column drop down filter abilities. So once you get used to this, you'll really grab the concept in Dynamics. Okay, While we're here, let me introduce you to workflow history. So if you have workflows within your system, and I sure hope you do, it really um, empowers a company to not have to send out emails. All your workflows are captured within D365. So if you're someone who does utilize the workflows within the system, you're going to want to get comfortable with workflow history. Why? Because you're always going to want to know where your workflow is at. So maybe it's been in review for a bit of time and you want to know who it is assigned to, and maybe for how long it's been assigned, or if it was rejected, you want to know the reason why. So I'm going to help you simplify workflow history here. But if you go to view history under workflow, in the entire dynamic system, workflow history looks the same. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to simplify all of this data. To me, this is a lot of data that is a little bit confusing. So what I want you to do is click on these tabs. So click on the general tab, this tracking details list, tracking details, and work items. It simplifies it down to 4 tabs. Now, the general tab is just general information about your workflow. You don't need it open to find what you're looking for, which is I want to come into this workflow history. I want to find who it's assigned to really quickly, or if it was returned, I want to know exactly why it was returned back to me really quickly so I can get out, address it, and move on. So, tracking details, work items is already information here within tracking details and tracking details list. Tracking details and tracking details list is the same thing, it's just viewed differently. Tracking details to me is a little bit not clear. Tracking details list though is that same grid table I just introduced you to, and I can easily use my mouse to scroll, or I can just look at the bottom to see who this is assigned to. Now you can see this was rejected. Now, obviously I'm demoing, so I'm not going to, typically I wouldn't reject my own. That's not a regular use case, but for this demo I did. But I can quickly see why. There was no receipts, and that's why it was rejected. Now, what I love about this system is when I come back into this workflow, it will remember how I like to see the workflow history, always on tracking details list. Everything else is collapsed. Microsoft did a really good job. Let's go back to the homepage. Okay, so let's come up to the very top right-hand side of your screen. If you are a company who has several legal entities and you are someone who works among several legal entities, this is where you would drop down to make the choice to toggle between those legal entities. The next icon is a search icon, and I really enjoy this search icon because what it does, so say I was looking for all purchase orders. And when I say all purchase orders, this is actually the all purchase order grid, but also it gives you the path to that grid, accounts payable purchase orders. But notice all purchase orders is in 2 spots, procurement and sourcing and purchase orders. There's a couple of tables that have the same name, different purposes, and then there's a couple of tables that are in 2 different places. All purchase orders is one. Don't get too boggled down with that. Just know that Microsoft has put this, for example, all purchase orders in the same place, but they're the same table in 2 different locations. But you can see where they're at. So essentially, I could come here to procurement and sourcing purchase orders and see all purchase orders. So let me show you how to do that. You can come over to modules, scroll down to procurement and sourcing, purchase orders, all purchase orders. So you can come here and select it here, but you can also use your all purchase orders here to click on it to bring you right to the same place. So the search icon is amazing if you're looking for a specific report that you might remember a few words. So for example, aging is a really good. You can see all your customer aging, your inventory aging, your vendor agings. Now, keep in mind, this is only based on your security role. So you're only going to see what is available based on what security access that you have. Okay, so let's go back into our homepage. The next icon is system message. So what happens here is you're going to get notified for any system message. So It might be something as simple as every time you download an Excel or export a PDF, you're going to get some notifications. I can tell you from a user perspective that this sometimes gets so overwhelming and so much is going on over here that it's really not relevant to my day to day use. Now, unless I notice that a file is not importing or maybe something is not working like it should, I can come over here and see why by the action centers. The system will notify me why that didn't import or why I'm having issues. So this is really good to have, but at the same time, you're not going to look at everything that comes through here. The next smiley face icon is a feedback to Microsoft. Love that they put that on the homepage. So feel free to send them your feedback. And then right after that is a important icon. It's the settings icon. So not so importantly, you can change the colors of, so see how my icons are blue, my corner here is blue, this is blue, my links, my hyperlinks are all blue. You can change those colors here. You can change the size of these workspaces. So if you're someone who works on a laptop, you might want to change these to a smaller size so you can see more landscape of dynamics. But most importantly, you can change your time zone here. So I'm going to show you that. Come up to settings under user options. Now here's where you can change the color. I like green, so I can change it to green. Here is where, if you're on a laptop, you can change the size of your icons. But under preferences, this is your time zone. So if you notice that your created dates within the system don't tie to, created dates and times don't tie to your actual date and times, then you might want to check your time zone here to make sure. So you can see I'm in a coordinated universal time, but really I need to be in central time. Now I would hit save, and now I'm central time. Everything else should be pre-configured by your organization, so you won't have to worry about anything. Now, if you do want to default a certain startup company, you would do that here, as well as you have personal options that you can change yourself. So if you'd like your initial page to be another page, the default dashboard is really the recommended initial page. Everything else, like I said, you won't need to worry about changing. It should be pre-configured except for under workflow. Let me talk to you about workflow. Under workflow, if you want to get notified that you have a work item to approve by email, this needs to be toggled to yes. Now, of course, there has to be some additional configuration around your workflow emails that your admin team would need to set up to make those emails go through. But once that's all set up, if you notice you're not receiving your emails, just make sure this is toggled to yes. Also, you have the option of send notifications to Action Center. So if you are someone who approves work items, you could potentially get an email letting you know you have a work item to approve. You can get your home page. So, and we talked about that. I'm going to duplicate this tab so I can show you real quickly. You have your work items assigned to me on your homepage, so that's the second way you're going to get notified. But if you check this to yes, you're also going to get a notification here in your Action Center and a direct link into the transaction that you need to approve. So you'll get it 3 ways. Underneath that is delegation. So delegation has nothing to do with timesheet delegation or expense report delegation. This is strictly around workflows. So if you go on PTO and you are someone who is an approver of a process in a workflow, this is where you can delegate those workflow approvals to someone else for a specific period of time in your absence. All right. So that is all on the homepage. Oh, let me go ahead and share with you. Over to the very right, where my initials are, this is a purposed way to sign out. So you might have a situation where maybe your security team says that they've updated your security role and they need you to sign out and sign back in. A lot of people think just closing the browser will sign them out. It typically does not. The best way to completely sign out is to come up here to the right-hand side of your screen, sign out, and then when you sign in, you'll be asked for your credentials to sign back in. Okay, so let's talk about workspaces for just a moment. You do have the option of personalizing your workspaces. So you can remove any workspaces. You can add some quick links here on your homepage. So let me show you. General journal. You can see for general journal, I have a quick link to create a new journal, which I would just click on that and it takes me right into the journal screen. If you're someone who wants to do that, let's try this on um, vendor invoice entry. I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're going to click into the workspace. Now you can see I have pending, on hold, pending assigned to me here. So these I can simply just right click, personalize, and pin to my dashboard, and then click out. Click, personalize, pin to dashboard. So what I'm doing is I'm clicking on, oh, I just opened it. So you can't really select it because it opens it, but if you'll select it and then right click, personalize, and pin to dashboard. Now, if I go to my home page, you're going to see those pinned to my dashboard. Yeah, I'm not sure about this one. This might be there's no data there. That's why we're seeing that. Well, maybe not. Again, this is raw. Let's personalize this and let's click inside. Which one did that here? Accounts payable, vendor invoice, assigned to me. So let's click back in this one, assigned to me. So let's personalize and let's unpin that one. Doesn't look quite right. Let's personalize journals. Let's add that. Yeah, this is a raw demo video. Yeah, for some reason that one's doing that too. So still will take you to the invoice journal though. Looks really nice. Just doesn't look too well here, but you can see accounts payable, invoice journals not posted. Okay, that's how you do that. Now, if you need to hide anything here that doesn't really help you, you can definitely do that by personalizing this page and then selecting. So say I don't need to see, let's see, all of this I really need. Cash overview for all companies because you're just strictly focused on your current company. You can select hide. These are the ones that I have hidden. And then you can come here and do cash overview and hit close. So that's how you do it. It'll still be there. So you can always at any time unhide it by just personalizing this page, go to the hide tab, and now you can see, you can just click on what you don't want to hide. Now, again, this is all based on your security role. You might not have this many workspaces, and that's a good thing. Okay. And the reason why I say that's a good thing is because it can be overwhelming when you have all of this. So Microsoft has done a really good job with only rolling out what's relevant for your role. I love it. All right, so since I'm introducing you to Dynamics, I want to introduce you to a few really key concepts, and that besides the grid is really important because it's everywhere within the system. So let's just go to accounts payable, all vendors. Here's that grid view again, right? So here is the drop down on each one of these columns. As you can see, I can filter on each one. So for example, under name, if I'm looking for a specific vendor, I can simply come here and go to contains and say, give me everything that has the word parcel in it and hit enter on my keyboard. I don't have to hit the apply. I can simply hit enter. Now it gave me the parcel carrier company. It was the only thing in there that I had. Now notice something. When I come back here to search again, it automatically defaults on contains because the system remembers the last filter criteria that I use. So if I'm someone who uses contains a lot, it'll just always remember that filter. Same with any other account that I have. Now, one of the things that I'll point out that a lot of new people in D365 don't know about is this information over at the right-hand side. It's a small little circle with an eye. If I open that up, there's always related information available on every single table. Well, I would say most of the tables in D365. Now, the system will remember that I like to see this related information, so I only have to open this one time. If I get out and get back into that all vendors table, oh, you can see related information will always be here. Okay, so every table has a header view, and then when you click inside the hyperlink, you'll be inside, whether it might be, you might see a line view, but this is the master record here for all vendors. So within that as well, you have your related information. Now, again, it will remember. So if I come back out and I go back into my modules, all vendors, on my grid view, I have my related information, but now I can click in any one of these vendors. And now I have my related information here as well. Okay, so let's talk about, I introduced you to grid view. Let's talk about favorites. I love favorites. Okay, the favorites over to the left-hand pane, I want to show you a couple things. First, you can pin this open. So there's a pin button here. You can pin that open. Now it'll always be open. Now I have got a ton of favorites here in my favorites. I'm going to get rid of them all so that I can show you. I'm just unselecting the star here. And so it is, oh, it accidentally opened one of the stars. So again, this is a raw demo video that I hope you guys are enjoying. Let's duplicate this tab because it's taking a while to open up that. Okay, let's come back up here. Let's get rid of all of these favorites. So if you end up getting a lot of favorites like me, and you just want to clean that up, you just unselect the star there. So say we wanted to have our expense reports in our favorites. So you're going to go to expense management. Under my expenses, hover over expense reports and put a star in the corner of expense reports. So now expense reports is in your favorites. Timesheets. So if you're a project management and accounting and you're someone that uses timesheets, you can see timesheets, my timesheets. And there's my timesheets. So now when we go to our favorites, we'll be able to see my timesheets. Very nice to be able to just come here, click on expense reports and start creating your expense reports. But you always have the option of using your workspaces as well. So you can come here to expense management, which I might have hid. Yeah, looks like I hid. Let's go ahead and put that on by personalizing this page. Go to what we've hidden by hitting hide. Expense management, so I want to unhide it, close. So now it's going to be here, okay? So if I open up expense management, I can quickly come here and go to new expense report. So you have options. Really, Microsoft makes it whatever you feel comfortable. So you can come over here to favorites, or you can use your workspace here to create your expense report. If I wanted to unpin this because I don't like it expanded, I can unpin it. Microsoft is amazing. I love it because it's really flexible to what you like. With that, I'm going to show you one more thing before we end this video. If you are on a main table, I'm going to go back to accounts payable again. On this table, I noticed that my payment terms are not on this table, and I need them to be. I need to quickly be able to see my vendor payment terms. This is common within the entire system, is that you can hover over this grid header, right click, and insert columns. Now here under field, Microsoft gives you this filter box or this field box. It does the same thing. So if I go to field and I change my drop down to contains term and I hit enter on my keyboard, I'm going to see delivery terms and terms of payment. I want terms of payment. But I'm going to clear this filter and show you that this filter box works the same way by using asterisks and making sure I select the column field And now I'm getting the same information. So Microsoft says, how do you like to search? Do you want to search with a filter box or with the column? Now, got my terms of payment selected, and if I hit update, my terms of payment or whatever I enter or insert will always be at the end of my table or grid. Now I can drag it by holding it, drag and drop it to another location. I want it more over here in my visibility. So there's 4 arrows on the corner of this column. I'm just going to drag it over and drop it. And now you can see terms of payment, but I don't want to do this every time I come into this table. So I'm going to save this view. Again, this is everywhere in the system. You're going to come to standard view and save as, and here you can change it to whatever you'd like to name it. This is yours. Maybe it's Jolie's view. Pin it as default. Pick the legal entities. For me, I'm going to say all legal entities because I work in them all. Now you can see my terms of payment. If I come out and come back, even in a different browser, let's just do that. Let's go to a different browser. Oh. Let's go back into, let's go use our recent. So we can use recent. We were in all vendors. Now you can see my terms of payment is now saved. Here's my column, Jolie's view. Now, if I ever wanted to go back and go back to the standard view, I can do that. There's 3 dots here and I can manage my views. And this is where I can delete, I can share if I have that ability or that security role. I can publish these out among the whole entire organization as well. But for me, I'm just going to delete so we can get back to the out of the box columns. Okay, there's so much more I can share with you. I think that is probably enough for this video just to introduce you to the homepage. My ideas are just running through my head of 50 tips in 50 minutes. That's what one of my main goals, just little tips that will help you along the way. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for your support and your comments and your requests. I have a few more videos coming up that users have requested that I create a video for. So thank you for those requests. Keep watching and have a great day.